everyone, Anna from Cat Realty, and today's topic is, should I have a car in Portugal? So before I dive into that, just a reminder that my name is Anna. I am the owner of Cat Realty. Cat Realty is a relocation and investment agency that supports expats coming to Portugal and settling in the best way possible. We support with the whole process, since getting the visa to finding the right location, finding the right neighborhood, adapting to the place the best possible, and of course renting or purchasing a property. So if you do want to find out more about our services, feel free to go to www.savvycatrealty.com, where we have all the information, including of course informative articles. And feel free, of course, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have weekly updates of useful information for those of you who are considering coming to Portugal. So, starting on today's topic, should I have a car? The answer is, it depends on where you are going to and what kind of lifestyle do you want to have. So a lot of my clients come to me saying, oh, I want to live in the center and I don't want to have a car, and I want to walk everywhere, and I want to be sustainable, and I'm all for that. Yay for sustainability. So the question is that actually feasible? Well, it is. If you are in the center of the city, it is perfectly feasible, especially in like Lisbon or Porto, if you are within the public transportation reach. Well, the small public transportation reach, meaning metro, and in the case of Lisbon, train area and so on. In Lisbon, you have a very wide reach on public transportation. In Porto, you have a slightly more narrow reach. And in the other cities, you don't have metro. So if you are not going to the center or transport area of Porto or Lisbon, you probably can only not have a car if you are in the center or in a very complete neighborhood of a medium-sized city. If you are in a smaller city or a more interior location or a more rural location, forget about it. You will need a car because public transportation will be pretty much non-existing. And you will need to get to places, even groceries, and you will need to get there on your own because you won't have a lot of options of public transports or even private transports like Uber and so on. So you will need to have a car to be in these kinds of locations. When it comes to intercity travel, once again, it depends a lot. You can do most of the intercity travel using public transportation, especially trains. The train line is great. You have a main train line that goes from Braga to Faro, so from up to the north until down in the Algarve. And all the cities that are on the train line are very easy to get to, the medium cities, because well, you also have the rural lines, the more, we call it the regional lines. So we have the regional trains, and then the intercity trains, and then the alpha trains that are the fastest. The regional trains stop everywhere. The intercities stop in most of the metropolitan cities, the bigger ones, and the alpha only stop in the medium-sized cities, so in the slightly bigger ones. And to get to these cities, it's very easy to go by public transportation. But if you want to go to a city that is not on one of these main lines, you have to be prepared to deal with, train exchanging, getting into buses, having that sort of being limited by schedules. Usually on the main cities and on the main areas, the trains can be late quite often. The buses too, but usually the place where they leave on time, but then the next stops, they are often late. So lateness is a very common thing too. So if you don't want to deal with other setting schedules and, you know, things being late and so on, it's probably better to have a car too. And for example, in the Algarve, the public transportation system is absolutely horrible. In the Algarve, in the Alentejo, in the interior of Portugal in general, public transportation system is horrible. So honestly, don't count on that. You will need to have a car to live in these locations. Even locations like Albufeira, Portimão, even Faro, it's better to have a car. Like Faro you can do inside the city if you are in the center location, but anytime you will want to leave Faro, you will be extremely limited because public transportation sucks. So that is something to consider. Of course, if you want, like I was saying, if you want to stay in a smaller, in a medium city like, I know, Braga, Aveiro, Coimbra, even maybe Castelo Branco, Évora. So those kinds of medium cities, if you are getting a flat in a more central location, you can have a perfectly good life without a car. The only limitations will be when you want to be outside the city. Big cities, it's mostly not a problem, especially Lisbon. I actually recommend not having a car because it's a nightmare to park in that city, and the traffic in that city, for me, it's a nightmare. But I've been in São Paulo not too long ago, so I can no longer complain about traffic. You know, perspective and all. So, still, in Lisbon, I usually walk and I just leave the car in the garage. And even if I'm coming to from Porto and something like that, I will prefer to go by train, just not to have to deal with driving there. And it's perfectly feasible to not have a car in Lisbon and Porto. It's just then you will have the limitations when going outside the city, and I guess that depends on how often you go outside the city. For me, I couldn't live without a car because I'm constantly traveling between cities. Like, to give you an idea, I was in Lisbon last week, I am in Caldas this week, the week before I was in Algarve, next week I'm going to Coimbra, then Porto, then Lisbon again. So I kind of need a car because I can't be limited by public transportation with all this traveling happening. So just be aware of your lifestyle. It's possible, yes, it's great, especially if you are in the biggest city. If you are in smaller locations, it's probably not a very good idea. So consider your lifestyle, consider your options, consider your budget too, because to be in the center, it is also an extra cost. Property is always more expensive in the center of any city. Of course, Lisbon is in a whole other realm, but any city will be more expensive in the center, so consider your budget and make the decision if you will need a car or not. It is fairly easy to drive in Portugal, and I think the traffic is not that chaotic, excluding Lisbon. And Algarve in the summer. Algarve in the summer is also a nightmare because everyone is there driving with licenses from all kinds of different places, and it's chaos. But yeah, excluding Lisbon and Algarve in the summer, Portugal is pretty laid back and easy to drive in. So just consider your budget, lifestyle and options and see if not having a car can be a thing for you. I definitely think it can be a great option for the environment, and hopefully in the future I will be able to forego of my car a lot more. So, I hope you find this useful. This is a fairly short video today. Leave me your comments, leave me your experiences. I'd love to hear about your driving experiences in Portugal or non-driving experiences in Portugal. And once again, this is Anna from Savvy Cat Realty. We help expats relocate to Portugal in the best way possible. You can find us at www.savvycatrealty.com, and of course follow us here for weekly updates on living and information on Portugal. So I hope you enjoyed, and I see you all again next week. Bye!